I'm not asking us to all join Kumbaya and we're going to go spend evenings together and we're going to have lunch every day and we're going to socialize, all of that. But can we have an understanding of one another? Can we be respectful to each other? That's all we're asking about. And that's one thing that I always ask when people do this class. If you take nothing away, take that away. Can I be understanding? Don't have to agree. I don't have to go join their club or their church or whatever, and I don't expect them to join mine. But now all of a sudden, wow, after I got to know them, I really understand them a little bit better. I understand what they went through. I understand what their experience is. And if they're willing to also listen to me, then maybe they can have an understanding of me and what I've gone through.
Rebecca, can I say something there? Something with what I've experienced in my life is I used to be quite judgmental, you know. And I remember somebody saying to me, wow, you really are hard on yourself. And the more hard I was on myself, the more hard I was on others. And so when I learned to really love and accept myself for who I am and the beautiful person I have become, I could then see other people that way, and I was a lot more accepting, and they didn't have to think the way that I did, and they didn't have to do what I do, or they don't have to. I just love. I love myself so I could love others.
So I want to comment on that, and that is there's good news, bad news about all of this. I'll give you the bad news first. You know those voices, those things where you're judging people and you're kind of going, uh-oh, never goes away. Never goes away. Try driving in your car to, somewhere. You're always like, why are they in such a hurry? Or, can't they go a little bit faster? It's always going to go. It never goes away. That's the bad news. The good news is it never goes away, so we don't have to try and shut it off anymore. However, we can now, when we hear that, go, oh, listen to me. I'm just going on and on about what that person's wearing. Or look at me, I'm judging them because they said that. And then I go, oh, now I can reframe it and go, oh, this is my opportunity to really go over and meet that person, find out who they really are. We get so riled up, especially in politics and all, like, how can they think that, blah, blah, blah. And I heard this wonderful story about two people that were on opposite ends of the political, whatever you call it, line. And the one person had lost her son. It was a tragic thing. And the other person said, you know what? I can go over there. And I can say to her, I am so sorry for your loss. There's so many places where we can connect. So those voices, those judgments, they're going to go on and on. But guess what now? The good news is you get to take it and go, aha, that's where I do have a bias. And have fun with it. Don't beat yourself up about it, Let it go and accept it and then go, okay, now what am I willing to do then to come over and meet that person? So with that, I want to talk about, we've got how we all want to be treated. We've got what kind of attitude we need to have. And now I want to talk about what are some simple little things we can do. I'm going to put the first one up. Smile. Smiling at somebody is so easy to do, but and sometimes we're kind of shy. I don't want to smile at them. But I'll tell you what, oftentimes when you smile at somebody, they'll smile back, and sometimes they won't. That's the way it goes. What else can you do to cross that line, get to know somebody, or connect with somebody who's different from you?
Listen.
And especially when we're talking about getting to know someone, there's nothing worse than asking them, so, hey, what do you do? They start talking, and you're looking around and looking at your clock or your, oh, my phone, Listen to what they have to say, and listen with that enthusiasm, that openness. What else?
Don't make assumptions.
Okay, don't make assumptions. And again, when you hear those little voices going off, just know that, that's just my little critical judgment going on. I'm going to get through it. What else?
Inquire. Just ask questions about them.
Ask questions. Ask people, what did they do over the weekend? You'll find out so much about what they do and what their interests are. What else?
I have a little thing that I started to do a couple of years ago, and it was because of the assumptions that I have. Every time I went to deal or to connect with a a service person, say a cup of coffee or a cashier, I had this assumption that they were going to be condescending, that they were going to look down on me the minute I spoke.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, some of them were. And if I feel that way, I turn it completely around. I'll say, so are you having a good day, or are you just about over? And I make a point of being extra nice. That person immediately changes.
It's true.
Immediately.
It's true.
Yeah,
We've
it
all
is
had that
intentional.
experience. When you walk up to somebody and you totally expect what they're going to do, you go the extra mile. Then all
But you're
of a sudden,
right. You have to make yourself do it.
I think the other thing is be genuine.
yes, yes. What else? Anything else?
Slow down.
Slow down. And tell me a little more about that.
In our society, we're going faster and faster and faster and faster. And I think we all need to pause, take a breath, and slow down.
And I'd say, and take time to be with people. Because when we're so busy looking at our schedule, then we missed out having a conversation with somebody or connecting with someone.
Well, I think even having time with yourself
Yeah,
is a very good thing.
exactly. It kind of calms you down.
So going into situations without judgment, I think that's really important. And so when you are faced with a new situation and there are some new people there, getting to know, I think, their names is also very, very helpful. And then acknowledging them when you see them in other settings. Many of us here see each other in other places, and we don't say hello to the people we know.
Okay. So,
All of that with the tinge of sincerity.
yes.
Because I've talked to people who will be smiling like crazy at me, and they're flipping me the bird eternally.
Rebecca, the one thing I would say in line with what Debbie's saying is commit to dialogue. What Brandy said about listening, I think I'll speak for myself. Oftentimes I'm much better at talking than listening. But the most important thing about dialogue is the listening. But we have to commit to that, and we have to create. We have to create in our own world safe spaces to have that dialogue. That I can feel safe to share who I am with other people, and people can feel safe to share who they are with me.
And it shows. It shows when you talk with someone, you get that, wow, they truly want to talk to me. And it just instantly creates safety. You can say something, Noni?
This is just a simple one, but the commonalities, in all this discussion we've been doing, I can connect with every single one of you. I know what it's like to be judged by my appearance. I know what it's like to be judged because I'm different or I speak different. In the work I do as advocacy, it's always, those people with disabilities want ramps or whatever, but guess what? We're all going to age. Mm-hmm. We all, the parent with the baby stroller uses those things. We use more of the same things and do more of the same things than we realize.
Thank you. That's been great. So everybody gets it? It's what we can carry out of here. I'm just going to tell you about the stages of bigotry. It starts with a joke. Then you are ignored, avoided. Then you are excluded. Then rights are taken away. And the very last one is genocide. And we have seen that. We see it over and over again. The reason I like to bring this up is I want to challenge all of you. I love to laugh. And I was the worst. People would come to me and tell me jokes, and I'd be cracking up. And then all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute, that joke is, talking about somebody that I know. And I knew if they heard that, they'd be offended. And I took a stand and said, I'm not going to do that. And I don't need that we need a big thing, whoa, stop. Grab them aside later. You don't need to make and say, you know what, hey, I don't like those jokes anymore. So all I'm asking is when I'm around, please don't do that. I think that's a way that we can take a stand. I'm going to tell you another story. There was a boy who was walking home from school. He had a lot of books. He dropped them all. He was there in the neighborhood, and there was another kid coming behind him, and the kid saw him, and he thought, well, he started helping him pick up his books. When he looked at the boy, he goes, wait a minute. That's a kid at school that they've been picking on him. Now, I could tell you, oh, he was fat, or I could tell you he was scrawny, or I could tell you he was a person of color, or he was an immigrant, or he had a disability. It doesn't matter. The kids were, you know, singling him out and picking on him, and the boy thought for a moment, that's not right. And all that he did was, you know what? He said to the boy, would you like to come? We're going to shoot hoops. Would you like to come? That's all that he did, that one thing. He invited him. Well, there's two things he did. When they got back to school and he saw him at school, he always said hello to him. And all of a sudden the other kids noticed him doing that. And that's all that he did. He just started saying hello, acknowledging him, how you doing? And the kids saw him like, oh, he must be a friend of yours. And it made all the difference in the world. They were in 9th grade at the time when they met. Then graduation day came. And they're all excited, and they're congratulating each other. I mean, they didn't become best buddies or anything, but the kid was always saying hello. And he goes, you know, I got to tell you something about that day. And he goes, what? He goes, well, you know the day when I had all those books and I dropped it? And he goes, well, there was something, I was going home to kill myself. I'd had it. I just didn't know who to turn to. Everybody was picking on me. And he goes, but by you just simply starting to say hello to me at school, it made the biggest difference in the world. And so I'm going to ask all of you to commit to just one thing, because we can have this great conversation and we can have all these aha moments. But if we can't carry away from it that we would do one thing a little bit different, are we going to smile more? Do we realize, oh, I don't listen as much. I tend to interrupt. Or, you know what? I'm not that accepting. I'm accepting of my peeps, you know, my folks, but not them, you know. Are we willing to talk to someone who politically we don't agree, but maybe talk on a different level? So I'm going to ask each of you on a piece of paper, if you have one handy. That's one of my goals, is that we can make a change. If we just talk about and have a great time and we never do anything, then everything's going to be status quo. But if each of us is willing to just do one thing, what a better place this would be. So if you would write it down, normally I hand out these real colorful papers, obviously I forgot, and write down one thing that you're willing to do. And maybe like when you get back to your office or wherever, put it on a colored paper and just put it in your wallet. And that you can look back at it 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road, and you can pull out and go, yes, I am doing that. And so with that, I really want to thank all of you for coming. As I said, I was very fortunate having this particular group come to shoot the video. And I do hope that everybody out that sees this video also gets that same impact that we all experienced here. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.